everyone, it's Michelle Caruana from Play Cafe Academy and Profitable Play. And this is going to be kind of like a subscriber Q&A type video because you guys have been loving that type of video. So before we get started, I just want to quickly thank every single person who took the time to leave positive feedback on my last couple of videos, especially, and anyone who left a like and proposed topics in the comments or sent me an Instagram DM or an email asking me to cover certain topics or answer certain questions on this channel. It helps me in planning out my content so much because I created this channel for you. So I want to make sure that the videos I'm putting out there are topics that you want to see covered and questions that you have that are at the top of your mind. So please feel free to send me an Instagram DM, comment on this video. All of that information, all of my social media profiles and things like that are in the video description. So I really look forward to hearing from you. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to leave it a like. It helps me so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe and turn your post notifications on, that little bell next to the subscribe button, so that you never miss a video, especially if you are proposing a topic or asking a question that you want to see covered. Because if I answer it or cover that topic you requested, I don't want you to miss it. All right, so as I mentioned, this is going to be kind of like a subscriber Q&A question, but instead of covering a common question that I get, I want to instead kind of talk through probably, or definitely actually, the most common phrase that I hear from prospective indoor playground owners, whether it's in my inbox, in my Instagram DMs, in the Playmaker Society group. I hear this so many times. And if you're somebody who's ever said this phrase to me, or again, in our Playmaker Society group, which is my group coaching program for prospective and current indoor playground owners, this is absolutely no shade to you because the logic is there, but I just kind of wanted to talk through some misconceptions and some things that you may not have thought of if this phrase has ever popped up in your mind. So I'm sure the video title probably gave this away, but the phrase that I hear most often by far is something along the lines of, our area doesn't have anything like this, and I know our business is going to be successful because there's nothing in our area to do for families of kids, and insert age range here. So whether it's a space for babies and toddlers that they're looking to create, or preschoolers or bigger kids, I hear this phrase all the time, that they're going to be first to market. So they know they're going to be successful because, like I said, there's nothing like that in their area. And again, the logic is there. I completely understand why this might, pop up in your mind. But again, it really poses some potential problems if you're going to be first to market in your area. So let's talk about them. The first roadblock that you're going to come up against if you're going to be the first indoor playground or play cafe in your area is going to be dealing with landlords and banks, especially if you decide to go with a local credit union or something like that, and you're not working with a national chain, because this business model has been fully established throughout the country. But again, if it's not been established yet in your specific area, somebody at that local credit union or somebody that is a local landlord might have no idea what you're going for. And that's going to be a big problem for you. And you're going to have to work very hard when it comes to educating potential landlords, insurance brokers, if you're working with a local one, and any lenders or investors or anyone like that. And this could be a potential problem because we just ended a pandemic and we're coming up to a recession. So landlords and lenders do not want to take on any unnecessary risk. And a business model that's very unknown to them and hasn't been proven in the area might be too big of a risk factor, and they might not even consider your business. A lot of times what I've been hearing from people who reach out to me and are having this type of issue is they'll say that, I reached out to 10 landlords and I can't even get a reply. Or they'll just reply and say, I'm not interested. I'm looking to lease to a franchise or somebody that has already established their business in this area or something like that. So what I recommend doing if you find yourself in this scenario is put as much information and links and references as possible in the actual body of the email. Because again, a lot of landlords will see something that is, again, unfamiliar to them. And that fear of the unknown is going to prevent them from doing any further research or opening any attachments or things like that. Because again, we just left a pandemic, or technically a lot of areas are still going through it, and we're coming up to a recession. So what I would recommend doing, like I said, put as much information in the body of the email. And I've seen this definitely skyrocket the success rate of at least setting up an in-person meeting. And if you can get a landlord on the phone or schedule an in-person meeting before you even send over your business details, that will also increase the probability that they're going to at least hear you out and take a look at your business plan. So I highly recommend trying to get someone on the phone or in an in-person meeting, because they're going to be a lot less likely to just hang up or walk away or something like that. It's going to give you a lot more time and a lot more space to really walk through exactly how you plan to make money, all of your potential revenue streams, why you think this business model is going to be successful. But again, you have to get them to open their minds first. And again, if you're just sending out your business plan via email or sending out feelers to potential landlords and investors and lenders, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of responses. So it's going to be really up to you to take on this education, share links to other indoor playgrounds that are successful, ideally that have been open for 3, 4, 5 years, have opened multiple locations, that have a very similar look and feel to what you envision with your space. So for example, if you plan on opening a space for children under 6 years old and it's going to be very imaginative, play focused, share examples of real life spaces that are currently up and running that, again, can help convey what you're planning to do. And again, if you can, put the pictures in the actual email. It seems like such a random tip, but I'm telling you, I have seen, like I said, a much better response rate when that potential landlord or lender doesn't have to do any extra legwork. All of the information that they need to consume is right there in the email. And then of course you can still attach your business plan, but you really want to make sure that you can provide as much education and as many resources as possible right in that email, or ideally in that in-person meeting. And make sure before you reach out to these landlords and potential lenders, make sure your business plan is completed, at least the first draft, because that is going to be a huge red flag to somebody that works at a bank or a credit union, or somebody that is, again, looking to lease their space to you if you don't have a fully completed business plan. Now, I completely understand that a lot of times it feels like you can't complete your business plan until you have things like potential rent or those types of expenses in order to fill in your cash projection statements. But I promise you that if you work with a broker or a real estate agent or somebody like that, they're going to be able to give you some ranges to work with. So again, you can at least get that first draft of your business plan done, because that is going to be one of the biggest qualifying factors to decide whether or not that person is going to even take a meeting with you. They absolutely want you to have that first draft done. And I always like to remind people that a first draft is exactly that. I don't ever want you to think of your business plan as finished, because it's not a checklist item. It's a living document that I want you to actually update throughout the years that your business is open. So if you change your revenue focus, or if your costs or revenue changes, I want you to always be updating all of those different factors in your business plan. And I actually did a podcast episode that I will link about all of the reasons why you should keep your business plan updated, because you truly never know when an opportunity could come knocking. So like, for example, Tiffany, the owner of My Play Cafe, she's in Playmaker Society. She is soon opening her first licensed location, and it came together so quickly. So essentially somebody reached out to her, and then like within a week, they had agreed on a licensing agreement and they had signed a lease on a new space. And had Tiffany not had updated numbers to share, or her financial reports weren't in order, anything like that, that person probably would have moved on, or started to open their own concept from scratch. So that's just one of many reasons why you should always think of your business plan as a living and breathing document. And I know that was kind of a tangent, so we're going to move on now. Again, we're going to talk about some other things or some other roadblocks that you might come up against if you are the first to market in your area. And one other thing that I wanted to mention actually before I move on is that you kind of have to remember that a lot of potential landlords grew up in the 70s, 80s, or even 90s. I grew up in the 90s, and a lot of the indoor playgrounds that I visited or frequented when I was younger were very similar to like the huge, large footprint, like Discovery Zones or Chuck E. Cheese's. So I just want you to keep in mind that that's what a lot of these landlords and lenders are going to be picturing, because that's all they know, especially if there are no similar spaces in your area. So just keep in mind that that's probably going to be the first image, the first business concept that pops up in their mind. So make sure, again, you do your due diligence to make sure that you're educating them as much as possible so that they can actually envision what you plan to bring to your space. Because again, a lot of landlords will hear, indoor playground and automatically think liability, noise, chaos. And if that's just not what you're looking to provide to your community, make sure that they fully understand that. All right, so other than having to educate potential landlords and potential lenders and investors, and maybe even your town's economic board, if you have one, or your local SCORE chapter or a small business administration chapter, you're also going to have to do a lot of legwork when it comes to educating your potential customers. Because again, a lot of parents right now, especially if there's no small footprint indoor playgrounds in your area, a lot of parents right now are also going to think of that huge Discovery Zone or Billy Bees or something like that. So if that's not what you envision, again, you're going to have to do a lot more work ahead of opening to make sure people know what to expect and really understand, again, what you're planning to provide. So again, this is not to discourage you if you're going to be first to market in your area, but I would highly recommend, as soon as you decide on a logo and decide on a business name, grab your social media handles and start blogging and start creating content on your website so that, again, you can really spend the next couple months as you're preparing to open, as you're putting all of your plans in place. I want to make sure that you're spending the time casting that vision, sharing inspiration pictures, talking about why you decided to open this business. Share examples of other indoor playgrounds that you're drawing inspiration from. Talk about why you're choosing the type of play that you're choosing, why you're looking to open in this specific area in, let's say, Buffalo, New York, if that's where you're planning to open. Share a little bit of behind the scenes about your family, about your background, why you're choosing each specific play structure, why you're choosing the paint colors and things like that. Because again, the more content you put out there ahead of opening, the more that people are going to understand your business, the more likely they are going to be to book parties right away. Because if people do not understand your business concept, they're not going to book parties in advance without having seen the place in person. They're not going to purchase play passes. They're not going to purchase memberships. But if you can do a really good job of, again, completing that customer education, and it could take months and months of sharing on your blog and on social media, you're going to have a much easier time generating sales and revenue and profit very quickly. And somebody who did a great job of this recently, I cannot say enough things about her amazing marketing, is Alara. I actually interviewed her, or she did a testimonial actually on this YouTube channel. So I'll link to that as well. But she recently opened Project Play in Texas. And for months before opening, she shared pictures, she shared stories, she welcomed her founding members. She spent so much time and effort on social media that she has been booked and busy since the day she opened. I think she shared a couple weeks ago that her entire January calendar was completely booked, and she just opened in, I think it was late December, like December 31st of 2022. So if you need an example of somebody who really did what I'll call the pre-business launch runway really well, check out Project Play's social media accounts. I will definitely link those. But a lot of people ask, why can't I just share on social media? Why do I have to blog? Why do I have to go through that extra step? Can I just post on Instagram? And sure, you absolutely can. But the more content that you put on your website, the easier people are going to, or the easier people are going to be able to find you when they're searching on Google, when they're looking for activities, when they're looking for birthday party rental services and things like that. Because again, if they don't know to Google play cafe in my area or indoor playground in my area or something like that, they're just going to be looking up more vague terms like things to do with toddlers or first birthday party venues. So by creating content on your website, not on social media, again, it's just going to be setting you up for success from the beginning because you're going to start showing up in search results even before you open. And that's going to give people enough time to, again, educate themselves about your business, understand what you have to offer, learn about what you plan to bring to the community. And again, it's going to allow you to make revenue a lot faster, recoup your startup costs a lot faster, and start taking owner's compensation as an owner a lot faster, which is always what we want to see. And something else that I kind of wanted to bring up again, just to summarize that, you should absolutely blog and post on social media months and months and months before you're opening if you're going to be the first to market in your area. But something that I want to kind of keep in mind as we talk about this is, and I say this in a lot of my videos, but if you are successful and people see that you're constantly busy and you're booking parties and you're posting on social, a lot of times people will see that success and they'll want to emulate it. And you're going to start seeing competitors pop up regardless. I always tell people to prepare for that as soon as they open. Be prepared for competitors and just know that they're unfortunately going to have an easier time in the pre-opening marketing phase because people are already used to play cafes now. People know exactly what they mean when they say, oh, I'm going to be opening a play cafe. And unfortunately, again, that first to market play cafe or smaller footprint indoor playground is going to really be tasked with doing all of that legwork when it comes to educating customers. So just keep in mind that, and this isn't to necessarily encourage you to open in a space that already has a lot of competition or feels really saturated, but just know if you are looking to open in a space that does have a couple similar businesses, you're not going to have to do all of that legwork when it comes to educating. All you're really going to need to do is be able to differentiate yourself between yourself and those other competitors. So instead of educating about what a play cafe is or what imaginative play means or looks like or something like that, all you're going to need to do is say, this is why our play cafe is different. This is how our play is going to be different. These are going to be the big differences in our play area or in our birthday parties or in the classes that we're going to be doing or what our space is going to visually look like. So again, it's going to be much easier for the second, third, fourth indoor playground play cafe in the area. So just keep that in mind and don't let existing competition discourage you because a lot of times, especially when it comes to this business model, it's a little bit counterintuitive, but I've actually seen success beget success, meaning that, again, once people are familiar with smaller footprint indoor playgrounds, the next couple are going to be almost automatically successful. So, of course, that, you have to take so many different factors into that. But again, it's definitely going to be the most difficult for that first to market person. So just keep that in mind. And something else that I wanted to kind of bring up, I can put my phone down. I'm like waving it all over because it has my notes on it, but we're getting close to the end. One other thing that I kind of wanted to talk through, especially for those people who are thinking, oh, we have nothing like this in our area, so we're definitely going to be successful. A lot of times when people say that, they're just looking at other indoor playgrounds or other play cafes, and they automatically assume, oh, we're going to have 100% market share. And I already talked about how quickly competitors are going to start popping up if they see that you're successful. But I also want you to think about other competitors and not necessarily just indoor playgrounds or play cafes. I'm talking about other potential birthday party venues, So a lot of people, when they open play cafes and decide to focus on parties, a lot of them don't actually put a lot of competitive research into their business plan and consider places other than indoor playgrounds that are going to also take up some of the birthday party market share. So things like lodges, community centers, rec rooms, pavilions at parks and things like that. If that's what people are used to booking for birthday parties, if that's kind of the go-to destination in your local area for birthday parties, that counts as competition, even if it's not an indoor playground or a play cafe. So you're going to have to do exactly what I mentioned before. Not only are you going to have to educate people about what an indoor play center or a play cafe is, you're also going to have to differentiate your parties between, or excuse me, you're going to have to differentiate between what your parties are going to look like and cost and have included and things like that versus competitors that you might not have even considered when you were doing some competitive research. And a tool that I want to share that is coming up very soon is every single year, I do a 5-day validate your business idea challenge where we walk through this competitive research step. And we kind of think outside the box when it comes to different competitors, not just apples to apples competitors, so indoor playgrounds or play cafes, but also anywhere families spend time in your area or money. So in this 5-day challenge, which is coming up February 6th, is going to be day 1 of the 5-day challenge. We walk through all of this validation process. We determine if an indoor playground can be successful in your area based on, again, competitive research, demographic research, rent prices in your area. We take so many different factors into account. And the whole point of the challenge is to walk away feeling absolute clarity around, again, whether an indoor playground can be profitable in your area. And not just if the concept can be successful in general, because I truly believe that indoor playgrounds and play cafes can be successful even in small, tiny towns. We're going to talk about exactly what that model should look like for maximum success, maximum profitability. And we also talk about making sure that your business model that you're creating aligns with the lifestyle that you want to lead and what you envisioned for your day-to-day and your role in the business and your background and your strengths. So again, wrapping this video up, I wanted to invite you to my 5-day challenge. It's one of my favorite things that I do every single year. And if you miss out on this round, we're not doing it again until winter, spring 2024. So I'm really excited to kick this off on February 6th. Again, I've done this for like 5 years now, and it's so fun every single time. I hope that you decide to join us. I go live every single day in our closed participant-only Facebook group. There's a training every single day. There's a ton of collaboration between the challenge participants. So again, it's just going to be so much fun. And I'm going to link to that challenge in the description of this video. So again, while you're checking it out, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, if I made you think of something that you maybe hadn't thought of before. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And as I mentioned, if you have a topic that you want me to cover or a question that you'd like me to answer, leave a comment, send me an Instagram DM, send me an email. I would love to hear from you and continue creating content on this channel that you want to see. All right, have a great day, guys. I will see you soon, and go Bills.